some people who thought my father was going to be the runner, and there were some people that were quite sure, and I would have been quite sure that my grandmother was. First thing she did is set aside the will, which your father had probated, and everybody who's interested in Frank Lloyd Wright should have a copy of that will, because it's so interesting. The most flattering thing is when he wrote that will, I was about 12 years old, and he put me on there. Grandmother did a great job of holding them together, but the countercurrents were really difficult. I don't think anyone else could have done it, because I thought the whole place would go bang like that. And then Jean died in '61, and there was a crucial loss. And John Hill decided to come back from House Beautiful, where my grandmother asked him to come back, and he had been sent by my grandfather. My grandfather said, you have a great chance here to do something for organic architecture. And as many people know, House Beautiful sort of attained its very zenith then, and fell off from there afterwards. Johnny came back, and I don't think he ever realized his full potential here either. I asked John Hill point blank, why did you stay around for so much of the difficult stuff you took? Because I was there for a lot of them. And he said, Brandoch, that didn't matter. Your grandfather would say, boys, I've just done this house, just finished the drawings, have a look at them, see if you see what's new here. And we'd say, well, this is a wonderful window, or that's a great roof line. And he would say, how long have you been with me? 10, 15 years? Don't you see this here? Have you ever seen that before? And we'd stare at it, and it was as though we were on the cutting edge of architecture in the world. I think my father should have gotten more of the design load immediately. He was I don't know how to put this. He was the de facto head of the drafting room, called the chief architect, but he never got the support that he really needed, the just complete support, do what Wes says. My father was good at making business decisions for someone else, not for himself. John Hill said, your father writes the most profitable contracts that we get. But he's a little sort of a guilty person too, because he thought he could do everything, and doing everything sapped some of the energy for doing the critical things. So many bad breaks occurred that I just sort of lost hope after a little bit. He did that nice focus house down below Taliesin West as a sort of spec house to attract people to the development. The whole thing fell on its ear. She made a lot of business decisions that might not have been that good. They created a group called the Friends of Taliesin, and there were some pretty smart business people in there, among which was a friend of mine named John Benton, and Aaron was there too, who was also a very good businessman. And they were invited because of their business skill, but Aaron said, Brandoch, every time I tell them, here is something profitable you could do. Here's a project that you can make money, take it out of my office, I don't need it. And they would say, no, we can't do that, we don't want to do that way. And John Benton said the same thing. We tell them, if you did what you want to do this way, you'll get it done and you'll make money. And he said time and again they'd smile at us and nod and walk off into the sunset, and it was as though we hadn't said a word, so we got tired of going. We just didn't go. He never really hit his stride as an architect until the Princess Palace, the first one and the second one. Of course, I've never seen either of them, but John Hill did. And he said the Summer Palace up at Chaloux was, he thought, the best building my father ever did. Those projects, I think, hinted at what my father could have become. I think about 1950 or so, my own feeling now, looking back at what happened, I think my father should have said, "Mr. Wright, I love you deeply and I respect you forever as my teacher, but I think I should go out and design buildings for a while, try it. I don't know whether it'll be monetarily successful, but I think I should do it." There's a wonderful house that he did for himself and my mother to be built right back where we are talking. And nobody would have known as well as Grau where it could be seen from. And he realized that if you looked at Taliesin, you'd see that house, much as it was concealed. It was built into the hill. And he put it in his autobiography. And they were going to build a house behind Taliesin. And the fact that he even said they're going to do it, even included it, for him that was huge. He normally would have said, "No damn person's going to build on that hill. Just forget it," even though it was my father's. In this case, he not only approved, he put it in this autobiography, which is just amazing. It was never built. My father didn't want to have anything to do with the thing that he was always very sad. He showed me exactly where it's supposed to have gone. It's a beautiful house. There's two perspectives of it in my book. I wrote about my father because he isn't known and nobody is writing anything about him, and I thought it might agitate a little bit for some curiosity to look into his work. It's been out there through 4 years of recovering from a stroke. Thank God I wrote it before the stroke. Maybe it'll never make it, but I think it will get published.